Hey guys, it's Sekaar, and today we're going to be going over my Magic and Necromancer build for the Scribes of Fate chapter. I know that I talked about it in a video earlier that Necro is a really bad class right now, and it was definitely a struggle, but it was also kind of fun. I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later on. But guys, I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It is free, and it helps me out tremendously. It's literally just one click, and I would definitely appreciate it. But guys, let's just get on with the video. Alright guys, before we get started real quick, I just wanted to preface this video with saying that if you're looking for the easiest build in the world or the best build in the world, this build isn't going to be it for you, because this is just a Necro, and just plain and simple to say, Necro is just a tough class to play right now. It really lacks a lot of damage, and I really had to struggle for each kill, no matter what the skill gap was in Cyrodiil. I really had to struggle for a lot of kills, and this was really the best build that I could come up with when it came to Necro. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. Let's just get on with the build. So we're going to start with our character sheet first. We're going to be a Breton on our Necro. Necro is really tough on your sustain overall. There's a lot of abilities that cost a lot of magic. So Breton is really good for your overall sustain. And honestly, that is really good. And it's a great way to just keep your sustain up as much as possible. I wouldn't really recommend any other class or any other races really, because your sustain is just going to be tough without having that just reduced cost passive just built into your race. So I definitely recommend Breton. We're also going to be having 35 points of magic into our attributes, 29 points into health to give us a max magic pool of 22.7k, a max health pool of 31.2k, and a max stand pool of 16.5k. And our Mundus is going to be the Apprentice to increase our spell damage as much as possible. Then also we're going to be using our Zorga Smoked Bear Haunch to increase our max health by 4,300 and our stamina and magic recovery at 369 for 2.5 hours. And then also we're going to be Vampire Stage 3, because Vampire Stage 3 is absolutely broken. The Undeath passive is phenomenal. You're just able to be super tanky the less health you have, so I definitely recommend doing that as well. Then also, if you can't afford the Zorga Smoked Bear Haunch for your food, I definitely recommend using the Jewels of Miserable food. It's basically the exact same thing. You just lose 400 max health and then 12 stamina and magic recovery. So if you're balling on a budget and if you want to use something very similar, the Jewels of Miserable food is basically the exact same thing, just slightly downgraded. Also, for our gear, we're going to be using as our helmet, we're going to be using a heavy Helm of the Fire in the reinforced trait. This is going to be the set that's going to be completely on our body at all times. Helm of the Fire gives you a line of weapon and spell damage, a line of max stamina, a line of crit chance. And then when you deal damage with a weapon, you deal an additional 2,378 flame damage. And this effect can occur once every 2 seconds. It's going to be a skill off of our higher weapon and spell damage. So this is going to be a lot higher on our tooltip as we completely buff up, because we're going to really increase our spell damage a lot in this build. We don't even have our major sorcery or anything up yet, so it's a great way to completely just get some really good overall sustained damage out there. This is going to be proccing every 2 seconds on this build, and I definitely recommend it. Also, for the rest of our pieces of the fire, so it's going to be a heavy helmet and reinforced with a prismatic enchantment on it. We're going to have a complete prismatic enchantments on all of our body pieces, as you can see. So heavy helmet of the fire and reinforced, heavy chest of the fire and reinforced, and heavy legs of the fire and reinforced. Those are our pieces on our body. The rest of our body pieces are going to be, our medium piece is going to be a medium magma incarnate for our shoulders in the divine trait. We have 1 extra slot on this build, so using this is going to help our overall recovery. So you want medium divines with because the 1 piece right here gives us magic and stem recovery, and I definitely recommend that. Sustain's kind of rough if you don't have that, so I definitely recommend using this. Also, the rest of our body pieces are going to be Rallying Cry. We're going to be using Light Rallying Cry hands in Divines, Light Rallying Cry sash in Divines, and Light Rallying Cry shoes in Divines as well. So Rallying Cry is going to be our back bar set on this, and this is going to give us a line of crit chance, a line of max magic, another line of crit chance. Then while Battle Spirit is active, so when you're in Cyrodiil, Imperial City, a duel, or a battleground, that's when this counts. Critically healing yourself or an ally is going to give you 300 weapon and spell damage, then also 1650 crit resist for 20 seconds. So it makes it pretty tanky with your crit resist, and then also you get to increase your overall weapon and spell damage too. Then the rest of our pieces are going to be Necklace of the Fire and the Infused trait with a weapon and spell damage glyph on it with the stamina recovery. I just had that already left over. It doesn't really matter if you do stamina and magic recovery. It's really not big of a deal, and it's not going to make too much of a difference. We're also going to be using Mark and Ring of the Majesty as our mythic on this. We're going to be using this the Infused trait, and this is going to be with a health, magic, and stamina reduced cost on it. That way it's going to help our overall sustain. I definitely noticed the difference between having this reduced infused cost on it and without having that. I definitely recommend having this. Then also our other ring is going to be a Ring of the Fire with a weapon and spell damage enchantment on it in the Infused trait as well to increase our overall weapon and spell damage as much as possible. Then also for our front bar weapon, we're going to be using a Master's Perfected Inferno Staff in the Sharpen trait with a shock damage glyph on it. The Master's Inferno Staff is amazing. The two-piece, the Perfected line gives you an extra 103 weapon and spell damage, so I definitely recommend getting the Perfected line. It's really not that hard to do DSA. It's pretty old content at this point, and it's tough because it's just so long and the guy talks so much. It takes so long to do that, but I definitely recommend grinding this out. Master's weapons are still really good. They're still really meta, so I definitely recommend grinding that out. And then the other two piece is going to reduces the cost of destructive touch by 10%. And then on top of that, you're also increasing your weapon spell damage by 600 for 4 seconds as well. So this alone is going to increase your overall damage by 703 when you're fully buffed up. And that's not even counting our sorcery buff. And then our back bar weapon is going to be a Rallying Cry Ice Staff in the defending trait with a magic restore glyph on it. And then moving on to our skills, we're going to be using for our, let's start with our front bar. Our main spammable is going to be Flame Reach. This is going to be what's procced. It's proccing two different things on our weapons, on our armor. It's going to be proccing both our Master's Inferno Staff, and then also it's going to be proccing our Wave of the Fire, because this is going to leave a dot, and this is technically, well, this not technically, this is a weapon class ability. It's under the destructive class, and it's also going to leave a dot. So this is huge because back if you go to the Way of the Fire, it says when you deal damage with a weapon, it also counts when you leave a dot on a weapon ability as well. So Wave of the Fire is going to be proccing every 2 seconds, and it is a great source of sustained damage overall. And Flame Reach is going to overall increase your overall spell damage a lot because of that extra 600 that you're going to get from Master's Inferno Staff. So I definitely recommend using this. If you don't run this, then I think you're messing up the entire build, and I definitely recommend this is a must on this build. Degeneration, this is going to be your source of major brutality and sorcery, increasing your weapon spell damage by 20% for 24 seconds. On top of that, you're going to leave a little bit of a dot on your enemies. It's not much damage, but I mean, it's MagNecro. I'll take any little bit of extra damage that I can get. Also, Arterial Burst, I tried to find another damage ability to use with this, and this was the only other one that actually did halfway decent damage. There's a lot of the time that I'm just really doing no damage with this thing, but sometimes it's actually hitting decently hard, but overall, it's tough. MagNecro doesn't really have another ability to pair with this. If somebody starts saying in the comments, throwing flame skulls at them, I'm gonna lose it. No, that ability is terrible. So this was the best thing I could come up with. I tried also in B Weapon, but it just felt so clunky. But this was the best one that I could come up with as a damage to combo with your Flame Reach. Also, Stalking Blast Bones, because we're on MagNecro, this ability actually hits really hard. It's got an 11.3k tooltip on it, unbuffed, so it's going to go a lot higher when we're fully buffed up. So I definitely recommend using this and using this at all times. Try and keep it out there as much as you can. Combo this with your Flame Reach, and you'll be doing actually a decent amount of damage. I like it. Also, we're going to be using Summoner's Armor, so this is going to be your source of Major Resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 6k for 20 seconds. And also, it's going to reduce the cost of your Blast Bones, Skeleton Mage, and Spirit Mender by 15%, so that's really good for your overall sustain, just having those reduced costs on that. So I really like that overall, and it's going to create a corpse when the effect completes as well, so that's going to really help our Mortal Coil on our back bar. But also, to finish us off, we're going to be using Dawnbreaker of Smiting as our ultimate, because I just don't really like the Necro ultimates. They just are all kind of stationary and bleh. I'm not a huge fan of them. unless you want to use like Goliath, but I don't really see a point in that. It's really not going to be working well with this build. I just like Dawnbreaker. Being able to combo Dawnbreaker with a Blast Bones, Flame Reach, Arterial Burst combo is actually pretty strong, and it does a decent amount of damage. And then our back bar is going to be Spirit Guardian. This is going to be a great source of damage mitigation because this is going to, what it says, while active, 10% of the damage that you take is transferred to the Spirit instead. So that's huge for your overall damage mitigation. And it's not much, but you're getting also a little bit of a heal every 2 seconds for 16 seconds. So it's not much, but it's extra heals, and I'll take anything that I can get. Race Against Time, this is going to be a lot of things in one ability. It's really nice. You get Major Expedition, so you're going to be pretty fast. You're going to get Minor Force, so it's going to increase your overall critical damage by 10%. And then also on top of that, it's going to be your snare removal, so it's going to grant you it's going to grant you immunity to immobilizations and snares for 4 seconds as well. Also, Resolving Vigor. This is going to be your main 5-second heal over time. Then on top of that, it's going to be your source of minor resolves. So it's going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 3k for 20 seconds. Resistant Flesh. This is going to be your main burst heal. So when you're taking a lot of damage, when all your heals over time are up and you're still taking damage, you want to hit Resistant Flesh, and it's going to shoot you right back up to full health. Also, Immortal Coil, all these abilities that are leaving corpses on the ground, whether it be Spirit Guardian or Stalking Blast Bones or Summoner's Armor, you attach Mortal Coil to it, and you're going to get some nice heals over time as well. It's basically using Mortal Coil and using Resolving Vigor simultaneously. You are just going to be very tanky, and you're going to be healing a lot. Now, on top of that, you're also going to get a little bit of stamina and magic recovery every 2 seconds, so that's nice as well. And then also, Temporal Guard is going to be on our back bar because we're going to want that minor protection that we get from that. And then finally, our champion points, our blue slotables are going to be Focus Mending, Wrathful Strikes, Master at Arms, and Ironclad. Our red slotables are going to be Survival Instincts, Sustained by Suffering, Pain's Refuge, and Celerity. And our green slotables, the only things that we really care about in here are Breakfall, Rationer, and Liquid Efficiency. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I do appreciate you guys being here and waiting until the end. Again, this is not really going to be an endgame super meta build because MagCro is just genuinely in a tough place right now, and it feels like you really have to struggle for damage. So I hope that you guys are understanding with that. I just really wanted to come up with something, and I just wanted to kind of test myself to see if I could do something, and it really wasn't as bad as I thought. It was an enjoyable build, but as far as meta goes, it really didn't feel like it. But overall, I did have fun, and I hope that that shows in the video. We're about to get on some gameplay right after I'm done talking here, so I hope that you guys enjoy that if you want to see a little bit of that. But guys, that's it from me. There's going to be 2 more things that I want to say real quick. One, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It is free, and I would highly appreciate any single new person that subs. It helps me out tremendously, and it is just free support. It's literally so free to just click that button, and I really would appreciate that. Also, if you're not following me on Twitch, we play 5 days a week, and we're always testing these builds. You can always see how these builds go live in action. So come on, check me out at twitch.tv/Sekaar. The link will be in the description. So guys, I hope that you guys really enjoyed. It really does mean a lot. I really tried really hard on this build, and I hope that it shows. But guys, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next video. Later.